You know how some things just glow? I'm talking about everything from the ink in a highlighter to those cool glow sticks, and even some critters deep in the ocean. It's this amazing effect, and today we're going to peel back the curtain and look at the quantum magic that actually makes it all happen.
So what is really going on here? Why can some materials soak up one kind of light, maybe an invisible UV light, and then shoot out a completely different, super vibrant color that we can actually see? Well, the answer isn't magic, it's physics. And believe it or not, it all starts with one tiny, tiny particle. To get a handle on this incredible glow, we've got to zoom in. I mean, way in, all the way down to the atomic level, so we can follow the wild journey of a single, super hyped-up electron. This is where the whole story really kicks off.
Okay, so every story's got a starting point, and for our electron, it's a state of just chilling out. This is the default setting for electrons in a molecule. It's their home base. They're paired up, totally content, and sitting at their lowest possible energy level. We call this the ground singlet state. Everything's nice and stable, but not for long.
The trigger for this whole light show is energy, and more specifically, the energy packed into a single particle of light, which is called a photon. So when a photon with just the right amount of juice comes along and slams into the molecule, that's when things get, well, literally exciting. That incoming photon is like a quantum energy drink. One of the electrons just absorbs all that energy and bam, it gets launched up to a much higher, more energetic level. It's now in what we call an excited singlet state. The thing is, it's totally unstable up there, just buzzing with this borrowed energy, and it can't stay there. You know the saying, what goes up must come down.
This whole wild ride, from soaking up light to getting all excited and then finally chilling back out, it actually has a map. It's called a Jablonski diagram, and it's basically the perfect roadmap for the entire life story of this energetic little electron.
All right, I know this looks a little complicated, but just think of it as a step-by-step guide. Let's trace the path together. See that big arrow going straight up on the left? That's absorption. That's our electron chugging that energy drink and making the huge leap. Now once it's up there, it immediately sheds a tiny bit of that frantic energy as heat. Those are the little steps down called vibrational relaxation. And then the main event, the big drop all the way back home. That final drop, labeled fluorescence, that's the magic moment. The electron spits out all its leftover energy as a brand new photon of light. That is the glow that we see. And get this, all of this happens so fast, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around it. Absorbing that photon, that takes femtoseconds. That's a millionth of a billionth of a second. It's insane. And the fluorescence itself, the glowing part, happens in nanoseconds. It is so mind-bendingly fast that, to our eyes, it looks instantaneous. The second you shine a light on it, it glows. The second you turn the light off, it stops.
But that incredible speed kind of brings up a question, right? What about those glow-in-the-dark stars you stuck on your ceiling as a kid? They keep glowing long after you turn the lights out. Well, that is fluorescence's slower, more complicated sibling, phosphorescence.
The big difference here is the return trip the electron takes. For fluorescence, it's like a direct flight, straight back home. Simple. But with phosphorescence, the electron takes this weird, forbidden detour. It slips into this kind of quantum penalty box called a triplet state. And for physics reasons, it's really hard to get out of this state. So the electron gets trapped there for a little while. When it finally makes its escape and drops back down, it releases light, but just much, much slowly. And that's why these things can keep glowing for seconds, minutes, or even hours.
Now, this whole thing isn't just a cool quantum light show. It's an incredibly useful tool for scientists. But to actually use it, you have to be able to measure it with extreme precision. So how in the world do you capture and analyze a glow that happens that fast?
Well, scientists use a pretty amazing machine called a fluorescence spectrometer. It works in 5 really slick steps. First, you've got a super bright lamp. That's your power source. Second, a special filter, basically a high-tech prism called a monochromator, acts like a super precise color picker for light, choosing the exact wavelength to get the electrons excited. Third, that perfectly tuned light hits your sample. Fourth, as the sample starts glowing, a second monochromator filters everything else out, so you're only looking at the new light being emitted. And finally, a super-sensitive detector measures exactly how bright that glow is.
And the final result you get from that machine is a graph that looks just like this one. It's basically a unique fluorescent fingerprint for whatever substance you're looking at. The first peak, excitation, shows you which colors of light the stuff loves to absorb. And the second peak, emission, shows you the color it gives off when it glows. It's a perfect portrait of what's happening on that molecular level. Okay, so this is where it all comes together. Understanding and being able to measure this quantum glow isn't just theory for a textbook. It has given scientists a kind of superpower, letting us see a world that has been completely invisible for all of human history.
Now don't worry, we are not about to do a math quiz. The equations for all this can look pretty intimidating, but the idea behind them is so simple and so powerful. It really just boils down to this. The more fluorescent stuff you have, the brighter the glow is going to be. The intensity of the light is directly tied to the concentration. It's as simple as that.
And that simple relationship, the one captured in this equation right here, is the whole key. F is the fluorescence, the brightness we can measure. And that's directly linked to C, the concentration, or how much stuff is there. So this means if we can measure the brightness, which a spectrometer does incredibly well, we can calculate the exact amount of something, even if it's a ridiculously tiny amount.
And that one simple principle is an absolute game changer. This is the tech that lets us see the invisible dance of life itself. It's how scientists can literally make strands of DNA light up in a gel. It's how biologists can attach tiny fluorescent tags to proteins and watch them move around, in real time, inside a living cell. It's the engine behind super-sensitive medical tests that can spot diseases at their absolute earliest stages. Fluorescence is, without a doubt, one of modern science's greatest secret weapons. It's illuminating the hidden machinery of our entire world.
You know, we started with a simple question about glowing stuff, and we ended up looking at the very machinery of life. From one single electron hopping between energy levels to visualizing how a cell works. Fluorescence is just a powerful reminder that there's this entire vibrant world hidden just beyond what our eyes can normally see. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other secrets are out there hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to shine the right light on them.